Welcome back to Solid Motion VFX. Today we'll be looking at a tutorial, a little longer one, where we're going to be using Blender. We're going to be cutting out mesh parts what we want to use for the dismemberment. For example, the head, the arm, and one leg, for example. Going to be using Blender, which is a free, absolutely free 3D software application. It's really a great tool for everyone who wants to get into the 3D. This tutorial is not about how to use Blender. There's plenty of tutorial on that. We're only going to go through the basics. And after I go through one body part, you should be able to do the other ones as well. Okay? And then we're going to be using, of course, BlazeAI engine for our AI setup. FPS engine for the player. Okay? So I have this awesome zombie character in here. We want to bring him into Blender. I'll go into the mesh and then right click, show and explore, just to see where we are. So this is the path. Control T to copy that path. Inside Blender you should have a blank scene. If not, then press the A key and then X to delete everything. Go up to file and then save this file here. And I'm just going to keep it as it is, zombie mesh cutout. You can call it whatever you want, but ensure that you copy and paste in that file path, that folder structure. So it's going to go in and save these files directly into Unity's folder. Okay, save as, like so. And now we can go in and bring in our zombie character. So import FBX. This is the mesh here. Import, like so. Press the 1 key and then 5 key on the numpad. And then you can press the F to frame up, like so. So we want to start with his arm here. So we don't want to be disturbed by these bones. So I go up to the viewport overlays and then disable the bones. And let's see here on the structure, which one is the body mesh? That's this one. So what I'm gonna do is go into edit mode. You have this object here. You can go switch between object and edit. Object mode is the full object by itself. But if you want to do anything to it, deform it or put in extra geometry or cut it, you need to go into edit mode. So now in edit mode, on the tool panels over in the left side, go down to your bisect tool here, and then all the vertices has to be selected. So again, just press A. If it was like this, so it's grayed out, then you cannot use the tool. You get this arrow. So press the A key, then everything is selected. Now you can use it. So as I'm up here, just lift and on your mouse, left click and hold it down. And while you're holding it down, you can see where it's gonna make the cut. So let's say we just want it maybe around here, and then release. Then you go up to select, loops, select inner. It's gonna select this whole arm here. Then we want to separate it. So go to mesh and separate by selection. So now we have an arm by itself. Go to object mode. You can see this is the arm. And while we have that, right click on it. Set origin, because the origin right now is still connected to the main body here. We want this point to move closer to the origin of the arm. So set origin to geometry, like so. Now you see it moved it over here. So if I click this character, the origin is here. If I click this object, the origin is here. So while we have this, on your numpad key, hit the slash button. So it's going to isolate this particular object here. And while we have that, go into edit mode again. And then you're going to switch between these 3 options up here. The one is the vertices, the second one is edge, and the third one is face select. We want the 2 for edge, so I press number 2, select an edge here, and then select another edge, and while I hold down Alt key and just click here and do it again over here until I have a complete loop around it. Now while I have this loop here, you can just press E. It's gonna make some extrusion. Right click to make it go back again, but you have that extra geometry right now. Then press the S to scale around here and F to fill the gap, and then G to move it a little bit outwards, like so. Okay, so now I've filled the gap, but we also want to make sure that we give it some color. So while you have material selected over here, go down to plus sign and new. Let's just call it red material and give it a base color of red, like so. And then we need to select all these faces here. So remember up here, 3 for the selection of the faces. And then you can either do it manually, like left shift click everything, or you can just press B. It's gonna do what we call box selection. Hold down your mouse and just do like this. But now you see you got this one that's important. You don't want that, so hold down your shift key and press on that face, because we don't want that. We only want these face inside here. Then remember to select your red material here and just hit assign, like so. So now that I have a red material, go back to object mode, while you have this selected, hit the slash to see it again, everything. But while you have this selected, go to File, Export, and then go to FBX. And remember here to the selected objects only, select this and armature and mesh, and give it a name like this. Export. Go into Unity to make a check. So inside Unity, you see we got this left arm mesh cut. You click on it, and there it is. That's our arm here. Beautiful. Go back again. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the head and the legs, okay? That's the head. Cool. So basically that's what we're gonna do both for legs here. So while you have everything here, let's go back to, say, show the bones. Select one object, press A to select everything here, and then File, Export, FBX. And we're just gonna say we want the full body here, full body mesh, and we have the armature on the mesh here, and we say Export. Go back to Unity, and this is our full body mesh. So if we put him in, remove this guy, now we have him here, and if we expand here, we can see left leg here. If we remove that, looks like that. The head mesh look like that. Left arm, like so. Let's right click the full body mesh and prefab unpack completely, because I want to move this part here. Still have the mouth, so jaw also under his mouth, like so. Now they're connected. Now on your full body mesh, you'll see under the rig right now it's generic. Convert that to humanoid, create from this model the avatar, apply, and then configure to see everything is set up correctly. Now let's go in and set up our blaze on this guy here. So add in the blaze component, adjust the capsule collider to your own liking. Now I don't want to have it on his head because we will add a spear collider here, because we want his head to pop off right when we shoot that. Nav mesh agent as well. Let's lower that height a little bit, maybe like so. Now to the blaze general here. Tag, let's just tag him as a zombie, and the layer here can be enemy. Okay, so waypoint, we don't want to look at anything here. States, add behaviors, vision on the setup, give it a height of your liking, and a minimum as well. I'm gonna put it around here. Okay, and I'm gonna leave the other one as it is. Targets, layers to detect, don't choose everything. I'm gonna have default, ground, enemy, flesh, animal, player. Hostile, the hostile will be the player. The tag of the player will also be player. Distract, we don't have that right now. Hit, add on behavior of hit, definitely. And the diff, so here you're gonna go in and add in your animations in here. So let's test it out. Ensure your player have the tag of player. Whoa, there he is. Yeah, he's chasing us for sure. So that's pretty cool. So on your player, now we need to set up a few things here. So on your player here, ensure first of all that on the variables on the hit layer you have enemy selected here, because he had the layer of enemy or zombie. And then go in and open up your weapon controller script. I'm referencing the BlazeAI demo and BlazeAI Space. Then go down to where you have your raycast shooting. So I have here private void hit scan shot. So under here you're gonna write if get components BlazeAI. So if we're hitting something that has a component of BlazeAI, what do we want to do here? First of all, let's also make a reference to the player. So game object player equals, okay, so this means now we have a reference to our player. We only have one game object in the scene that has the tag of player. Okay, now hit, because then we're gonna say player dot game object. This line here means now when we hit our player, even if he's turning the back on us, then as soon as we hit him, he's gonna run towards our destination, our last location. Now we also want to do a hit dot collider game object get component again, and this time we want to look at the health and make sure it's BlazeAI health here. And what do we want to do with the health? We want to look at the max health, and we're gonna redraw that from our damage per bullet, this one, which is our weapon from the FPS engine. So whatever the bullet amount is set to on that weapon would be the value it's gonna reduce. Go back to your zombie here, add in this enemy health BlazeAI, this one, go in and look at that health. Right now you can see BlazeAI, it's referencing the AI down here and getting the component. Max health is set to 100. If its max health comes down to 0, it's gonna do the def. Once more, the layer tag of enemy. Let's see if we can damage our AI now. We're definitely damaging, and look at the max health. He's taking 40 damage each time. You see that? And there he's dead. Why does he take 40 damage each time? Oh, sorry, 20. That's because of our player here. So go to your player and look at the gun. We're using the shotgun here. So look at the shotgun, and under stats here, damage per bullet, it's set to 20. That's why he's losing that. Now let's go in and work on some body parts here. Now if we go in and look, put in some collider, let's look at his arm. First of all, let's expand a few things here. Okay, so on his left arm here, let's add in a capsule collider. It's huge, so you have to, of course, adjust it like so. What's important here, if we just make sure that the collider is following the arm, and it is. So this collider here on this arm here, let's give it a tag. Let's call it body part. You can just go in and add tag. If you don't, you can call it whatever you want, but I call it body part. So in here we're gonna make a new component, Dismember body part. So in here we're gonna do a few things here. Let's get a reference to our capsule collider. We can call it cap here. Okay, and let's make a few publics here. So I have a public game object prefab to disable. So I want to disable a game object, whatever dismembering part I have from the original part, I want to disable that. And I want to also instantiate a body part. Those are the one we created in Blender. And then if you have, of course, blood, you can put that here. We're gonna leave that out for now. Then public for instantiates distance. We're gonna be instantiating our prefabs, so the distance you want it to be instantiated from will be there. Then we also want a public bool, and we just call this can crawl. This will be when he loses his leg. We'll see that later. The cap, let's get a component for that, and we just say the capsule collider here. And we don't need the update, but we do want something here. Let's call it damage part. Okay, so whenever we hit something inside, when we're gonna create inside our weapon controller, we're gonna send a message to this component here, where it's gonna look at this specific part here. This is where we're gonna do the instantiation. Add our can crawl to true. Right now it was the bool was false. So in this part here, we'll set it to true. We'll make 2 of these public void damage. The first one we want to have the can crawl, because this will be if it loses its legs. So we're gonna call this public void damage part leg, like so. But we wanted to definitely instantiate the different parts here. So save this one out. Now on your weapon controller, next to this kill BlazeAI, let's add some other lines here. So I'm just gonna paste this in. So here's a hit collider compare tag body part. So if I hit something that has the tag body part, I want to send this magic on that body part for this public void we created damage part, and it's gonna send the message options don't require receiver. So this damage part should be equal to this one here, damage part here. Let's do a debug log to ensure that we are hitting it. So right now here it says body part, right? So if we hit that, we should have a debug log here. Make a prefab out of it. Go back here. This prefab here. Put a rigid body on it. Let's just set it to 2. Put a capsule collider on it as well. It's a pretty simple script. We're just gonna say rigid body RB in the start. RB, get the component of the rigid body. RB, we're gonna do that after 5 seconds. And save that out. Now let's find the hit. When I have the hit here, you see when I disable that, we still have his mouth and eyes here. So we need to go into the full body image, right click, and then on the prefab say unpack completely. And then the jaw needs to go under the head. So we disable that. Then we have the eyes left. Take the eyes under the head mesh as well. Let's see it for the head. Yeah, that looks much better now. Now for the head itself, let's see here, add a component. Let's just say sphere collider and tag body part head, like so. And the dismember body part here we have, right? We need to put that here as well. So go in and say dismember body part, and we want to have his head cut prefab here to instantiate this one. And what do we want to disable? This head mesh here, like so. Go over to your weapon controller, copy this, and if you go back, you can see it's called body part head, right? So here we're gonna say body part head. Okay, save this one. So now we have a body part and we have a body part head. He's doing the biting animation. There goes his head. And let's see here. Can we get his arm off? There goes his arm. Okay, pretty cool. So not to bother you too long with the process again, on the left leg here, do the same thing as the other body parts. Put in a collider, put in this script here, dismember, put in your prefab for the leg that you want to instantiate, and put in your mesh that you want to disable from view. Then of course we have to go in here, make a new one, and because we call this body part leg. Alright, let's see if this works. Head fell off. Can we get the arm to fall off? Arm fell off. And what about the leg? Leg fell off. Cool. So the body parts falling off definitely works. Now let's work on the switch behavior states here. So let's see here. Let's just call this behavior switch. So in here we will definitely do a few things. Let's first of all get a reference to our Blaze here. So BlazeAI, let's just call this zombie AI. Okay, and we can get the component to him. And we want a capsule collider This is the capture collider, the main capture collider that comes, that the BlazeAI will generate for you. So, and we want to do the same thing, get the component for that. Now to organize a little better, then you make some headers for your different switches here. So I'm gonna call this header, and see, let's call it when lost arm, for example, like so. This could work. And then we're gonna do public attack state behavior zombie crawl. Okay, normal state behavior, we can just call this zombie normal crawl. We can call this hit behavior while down, zombie down hit, maybe something like that. Save that out. We also want a public reference to our body parts, right? So we say public dismember body parts, the components. Let's call it CC, and in the void here, let's say if, and we have a boolean there, control, if that is true. So this means that our player, this means our zombie is hit and he's actually supposed to crawl. Let's go up here and make a public float radius, and let's just give it a 1.5. This will be the radius of your capsule collider on your main AI. Cap radius equals new radius, like so. Cool. And now for the zombie AI, we're gonna take the attack state behavior. So if you can crawl, then the attack state behavior will go to zombie crawl. So this one, this zombie crawl equals this attack state behavior, okay? Like so. And also the hit state behavior will of course be this one here, zombie down hit. We also want to say that if the distance to enemy is greater or equal to 6, then the zombie AI attack state behavior should be this behavior we had up here, which is a normal zombie normal crawl. So zombie normal crawl, like so. I will use the awesome spare state here. So we're gonna make a reference. So zombie AI. So zombie AI set spare state, and you're gonna give it a unique name. Let's just say fall down. That could be it. Remember this unique name here. Save it. So when we have this, we also need to invoke this from our weapon controller. Go back to your weapon controller, and this is when he falls down, right? So when we shoot off the leg, will be this part here. We're gonna add another code here. So hit collider game object get component in parent, and what component we want, which we want to get the behavior switch, this one, and on that one we want to send message. And what will be this message? The message will be this here, the spare state. Then we know it's gonna go in and look at the spare state, and it's gonna look for this set spare state to fall down, right? So let's go and set that spare state up. So in the spare state, let's add one. So here the unique name, which is fall down. That will be the name Okay, and what we're gonna put here is, let's see here, I have this dead front animation here. If I play this, so imagine one of his left leg is shot off, and we want him to fall down like that. So I'll put that up here and go back, put it inside the animation to play, and I'm gonna add it there. And anim time, animation frame from current to this one, I'm gonna set that to 4 for now. Say exit after 6. Go up to your behavior switches here. So zombie crawl, this is where we're gonna actually put in these different animations here. So basically just gonna copy paste. If you know how to script and go and actually change the behaviors, you can do that. So I'm gonna take the attack here, copy component, and paste components as new. I'm also gonna take the normal, copy component, and paste components as new, and the same with the hit state. You can also of course create new ones completely instead of copying these. Many ways to do different things. So let me find my crawl here. So crawl zombie, and go back to the full, and I'm gonna say on the normal state here, idle, just gonna crawl, move, crawl, maybe set it to 1. On the attack state, move maybe to 2. Idle, just gonna crawl, move, crawl, and attack idle, move backwards, just crawl. So on the behavior switch, put in this attack state up here, and for the normal, put this one up here. Here we have the headers, and hit behavior while down, and put that in here. And then here on the CC, Dismember body part, we want to make sure to get his left leg, this one, because on this left leg, when we hit his leg, then we want to actually, this can crawl through. Dismember up here, if we say damage part leg, we're gonna say it can crawl through. So for a weapon controller, remember this damage part needs to be switched. So here we have damage part, that's the body, but when we're doing the leg, we need to put in this part here. So go back to a weapon controller, and then on the leg here, ensure that you put in this part here. Let's see if we hit his leg. There it was. It falls down, and of course everything here depends on your animations. Okay, so on the BlazeAI spare state, I changed the anim time transition to 0.4 and exit after 6 seconds. And also on the animation, this one here, where he actually falls down, I speeded that up. I set that to 5 in the speed. Let's look at it. So we should have a quick drop down. There, yes, there went his leg. He's lying down, and he's gonna transition over to the crawl, and he does that. Now pay attention why we did this with the capsule collider before. So we go up here, look at the full body mesh here, the behavior setting, this new radius here. If we go and find him in the scene view, you can see right now he has a pretty large capsule collider, right? So if you put that to 0.5 maybe, yeah, then it's much smaller. So I think actually we would do that, put it to 0.5, and the same thing if we go back here, public float, and new cap height. So this one we can also play with. So new cap height, go down here where we have this cap radius, cap, and here we say cap height, we're gonna say new cap height, like so. Save it out. Let's take a look. So after we changed the new radius to 0.5 and new cap radius to the height to 0.5 as well, let's see here. Yeah, so the capsule collider right now is over here, and it's very low, so that's exactly what we want. So same thing goes when he loses his arm. We can put another spare state in here as well. We can just call it lost arm, and then for this spare state we should have an injured one, this one. Go back here and put it in here. Let's just say 25 for this one. Exit after 4. So you would just go ahead and modify here. Call the body part left arm and find his left arm. And then give it a new tag. Save it out. Body part left arm here. And then remember to go in and assign it. Left arm. Like so. Now go back here. And now of course we want not to call the damage part leg. Damage part arm, like so. Remove this part. Damage part arm. Okay, and we're gonna go on in the behavior switch, send message spare state. So go back again here. And send spare state, we can just call it send spare state 2. Go back here, send spare state 2. Save it. Go over here, and here this unique number, this unique name will of course be whatever you set the spare state to over here. So in this case, lost arm, and save it. Alright, so we set the spare state and give it an animation transition for 1. And on the attack here, when it goes back to the attack, the normal one, I'm gonna set the transition to 3.5. 3.5. Let's test it out. There's his arm. He plays the animation, get to kneel, goes up again. There goes his head. There goes his leg. Last part is last fix. When he loses his head, then he dies. Pretty easy. So go back here where we have the different head colliders. So body part head. When he does this part, what we want here. So we're gonna say head collider game object get component in parent, the BlazeAI, and just call the diff like so. Save it. Alright guys, thank you. Sorry for this long tutorial. I hope definitely you learned something. I will try to make timestamps so you can watch the part you want to see. But you have to tweak this to your own liking, of course. Make some cool effects, nice blood effects and so on. So you can definitely create some cool VFX on this one, okay? But now you should have a solid understanding of how to cut off meshes, whether it's low poly Cincy models or high quality model like this zombie here. You can easily cut up the mesh inside Blender and bring it in as separate part into Unity and then just modify it, okay? So thank you guys, see you on the next one, bye.